Great Scott! Great Scott! Great Scott! Great Scott!
All your questions will be answered. Roll tape.
Live from the former Institute of Future Technology in Orlando, Florida, you're listening to What the Flux with her host, Anthony Furtado, Brooke Bromery, Caitlin Larkin, and Eugen Schnee.
Hello and welcome to What the Flux. Guys, this is the first episode. We did it.
This is insane. I can't believe it.
We're so excited.
We're here.
You don't sound so enthusiastic.
Yeah.
Thanks, Eugene.
Well, my name is Anthony. As you guys heard at the top of the key, I am one of the 4 members of this here podcast, and I just wanted to go ahead and let everyone else introduce themselves. So let's go ahead and get that done.
Yay! I'm Brooke, and I'm really excited to be here. This is so much fun. Yay!
Oh, that's so cute. Hi, everybody. Thanks for listening. I'm Caitlin Larkin, and I'd like to just point out that I am the mastermind behind this
Yes.
little shindig
Yes,
that
you
we've
are.
got
The
going on
reason
right
we are
here.
here.
So, you know, I love Back to the Future, and I love you guys, and I'm so glad that we're doing this and getting it done. And last but not least...
Well, of course, you had to introduce me. Thank you very much for that. Here's Eugene. Hello, world. Nice to meet you all. I like long walks on the beach.
This isn't your Heat Harmony profile,
Oh,
man.
that's not it?
He
No.
doesn't need an eHarmony profile. Your girlfriend's going to kick your ass.
Oh, yeah. Which one? Oh,
Oh my God!
hello, folks. Welcome. My name is Eugene. We are so excited to do this. We've been working on this for a while now, and it's very exciting, actually, to finally do this. We actually have microphones. We and Brooke are talking that we're going to bedazzle.
We
our
bought
microphones.
stuff.
Oh my gosh, pink bedazzles.
It's funny, like Eugene mentioned, we've been working on this for quite a while, and Caitlin, as you said, you are the mastermind behind this. I remember I was literally sitting on my couch in my living room, and I just beep beep. I was like, what the hell's going on? Who's talking to me at this hour? And it's Caitlin, and I was like, okay, something is
Oh,
wrong.
your phone goes beep beep.
I mean, for lack of better terms, but
Interesting.
she never messages me. So I was like, what's going on? And she's like, hey, I got an idea. I was like, I'm going to jail or I'm going to die. Something's happening. And
Is that what happens when I message people on the regular? Is that what everybody thinks and goes through? Like, this bitch has got a crazy idea.
I
Run
guess.
And hide.
Most likely, either that or the fact that you probably something had to do with the Beatles. Or,
yeah, that or
That is-
she's asking us to come
that's
take a
true.
tour. Something.
Right, absolutely. Oh my gosh.
Guys, I'm bored at work again. But this is something that we've been working on, and Caitlin kind of just like we kind of met all together at one point for MegaCon last year, and we'll get more into that later. But that's kind of where I feel like this may have developed, this idea, and bringing us 4 in with how different our backgrounds are, but at the same time we all have love for this one thing that we're here to talk about, which is back.
Not food.
Huh?
I mean, I do love me some food.
Hooters wings.
Yeah, I don't think I've eaten as much as I
Wait,
have
Hooters
since we
got
started
wings?
this.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I never got it that far. Really? They actually serve food there?
Yes.
No.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Wow.
Well, Eugene, while you process that, we are talking about Back to the Future, one of our the best trilogies, in my opinion, the best trilogy to ever be
It is
made.
absolutely the best trilogy
Preach,
ever made.
preach.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, before we get into all that, I mean, you guys probably are like, who in the hell are these people? So we'll go ahead and kick it off. Brooke,
Yes.
tell everyone who you are, what you do, why you are.
Okay, I'm Brooke Bromery. I'm originally from Maryland. I've been living here for about 5 years in Florida. I work for Disney and Universal.
But we are no way affiliated with Universal Studios.
No, we are not. No, we are not. No, we are not.
Back to the Future.
Yeah, no, we're not. That's just my job. Hey, what's up? I dance sometimes, and I'm spooky.
Did all the lawyers heard that? You guys got that?
Should we start over?
Awesome.
Can we just wait 1 second? We just check that one more time. We are in no way affiliated.
No, we are not.
But
I promise.
If you're gonna say it, you gotta say it like, we are not affiliated with Universal Studios. Please
Promise.
don't sue us. We don't have any money to give you.
Hey,
This is a fan-based podcast.
fan-based only.
We do this because we love the franchise. We love the movies.
Yeah, totally.
All right, Caitlin.
So, I'm Caitlin Larkin. At the time of this recording, I am 30 years old. And I'm originally from Long Island, New York.
I can tell.
I know. No, but like everyone's like, really, you're from New York? You don't have an accent. That's because I've officially been living in Florida longer than I ever lived on Long Island.
Oh, wow.
I know, it's been like 17 years
Oof.
that I've lived here. I used to live in Port St. Lucie. It was terrible. Port St. Lousy. Oh, you don't want to know.
Oh, no.
You do not want to know about the pizzle,
Well,
as
there
we,
goes our
as we
fan base
call
from
it.
Port St. Lucie.
Trust me, you don't want them. You
Yikes.
don't. You don't want them. Most of the cool people from Port St. Lucie have moved here to Orlando, so it's all right.
I, for one, want to apologize to all the people from Port St. Lucie. I like you
Another
guys.
disclaimer.
You guys are really cool, by the way.
We are
Don't
off to
unfollow
a
us, please.
great start.
Wow, we're killing it. We should probably start over.
This is perfect. What are you talking
No,
about?
no, no. We're gonna roll with it. So
Okay.
over here we have Eugene.
Over here, we have Eugene. Eugene, talk to the microphone.
Okay.
Okay.
Stop reading your stage
I'm
notes.
sorry. Hi, everybody. My name's Eugene, or actually, it's pronounced Eugen. I was actually born in Puerto Rico.
That's why you
Hold
can't
on, stop.
understand him.
Wait,
Uh-huh.
excuse
Yeah,
me?
hold on. You can't just run past that shit. I have been saying your name wrong for how many years now?
Yes, that's correct.
Has everyone been saying it wrong and you just go with it?
Not necessarily wrong. The thing is, well, for all the viewers out there, my name is actually Swiss German because I was actually born in Puerto Rico, but I was raised in Switzerland. Pretty much, long story short, my father's white, my mother's black. You mix milk and coffee, you got me, cappuccino. There you go. It's tasty yet delicious. But anyway, I've been living in Florida since '05. It's been an amazing journey here. I've worked at the theme parks. I've worked at I worked pretty much I've done all the
What
crazy
haven't you
jobs.
done?
I was a clown, for God's sake.
A
Let me tell you, I was a clown. I was
They
a
scare me.
Let me tell you something. I was a professional clown.
I don't like that.
You know what's scarier than a clown?
You?
Yeah. Hey, I earned my goddamn red nose, okay?
Oh my
I
God.
actually got it in my office.
Do you?
I do. I'll show it
should
to
wear
you.
it for the rest of the podcast.
Maybe I will.
Just for us.
Exactly. Anyways. So yeah, I'm very excited about this craziness that we're starting here, and it's really cool to be talking to all of you fans out there because, I mean, how much do we love these movies? That's the thing about it. When we started this, it was just a matter of we was just four people that love the same movies, and we talk about them. Then it all started with MegaCon, right?
Pretty much. It all kind of boiled down to last year's MegaCon where, well, at first, oh my God, even just when it was announced that they were going to have that big Back to the Future panel,
Yep.
Oh my God, yeah.
Anthony, Eugene, and I were already in a group text, and Eugene has just walked away randomly.
Well, while he does that, I should probably introduce myself.
Oh, yeah! Oh, my God, we are terrible.
No, I kind of just segued into it. As you can see, this is a learning experience for all of us.
We've never done this. What?
Even though I do work in radio.
Yeah.
I've never done anything like this.
Sorry, that was the OCD moment of the show. Brought to you by OCD. Gotta know where it is.
And also, we are not affiliated at all with OCD or anyone who's.
We're not doing well. I'm really sorry I started that off. Okay. Let's keep going.
No. Well, my name is Anthony Furtado. Like everyone here, I was not born in Florida. I was born in California. Moved over here pretty shortly after. I was only born over there because my family was military. So moved over here, started working at Universal fresh out the gate of high school, and have held many a position there. After that, I've transitioned now over to Disney World, and I work with them. So it's been pretty. I mean, we all met at Universal actually. I met Brooke in 2016.
I know, yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, I met Caitlin and Eugene almost a decade ago, if not more.
yeah.
Oh my God, you guys are so old.
I met the two of you in 2012 because that's when I started working at Hard Rock. Eugene was actually my trainer.
Mm-hmm. That was
And
right.
so we actually had a really cool job back in the day. Neither of us are sadly doing that anymore, but we did the memorabilia tours for the world's largest Hard Rock Cafe in City Walk. We are also not affiliated with Hard Rock International.
No, we're not. Yikes.
And I was just the damn kid that kept coming in and saying, "Hey, I want a tour." And so,
I know.
So typical.
It was every time you came in, it was like, "Oh, it's that annoying kid again."
love you too,
It's
Father
like,
Time.
it's like, really, what else can I show you? I've shown you everything. What else is there?
Shit, I was given the tour by the end of it.
That is actually
We would
true.
just bring in people and be like, we were just there because we had the key and we were able to open all the doors to
You guys got a
all
break.
the cool stuff.
I was not involved.
Yeah, Brooke, you came in 7 years later.
I know, sorry.
I know.
Hey, what's up?
You should be sorry.
Well, then we we kind of just rallied into. We all got together at MegaCon, and that was probably one of the best days of my life.
Oh my
How about you
god!
guys?
It was worth every penny that I did not spend in rent.
And we sat front row at the panel.
Front row.
Except for
because
Eugene.
he was late.
I was late.
He was dressed up as Han Solo and Carbonite, and he had to change into his Back to the Future outfit, and he didn't
Embarrassing.
leave himself enough time.
It's okay.
Listen,
Forgive
taking that stuff out, it was insane because my problem with cosplays, here comes to all the cosplayers out there, and I know you guys identify. You don't really think about going to the bathroom when you're working on a great costume. You think about two things: does it look cool, and can you walk?
Yeah,
and
that's very true.
That's all you think about. And then, when you actually have to go to the bathroom, that's when you go like, oh yeah, I should have thought about that. That's a very important detail. So yeah, it took me a long time because to get rid of the damn costume and then change everything and then change into my Marty McFly outfit and then run over there. I was a little bit late, but whatever, man. It was worth it because guess what? I saw the light. I saw Michael. I saw Tom. I saw Christopher. Yes, that's right. I called him.
You saw us in the front row.
Yeah. I saw you. Oh yeah, those people. And but it was so cool just to see. I mean, it was my first. I've met before. I don't know about you guys, but I've met before Leah Thompson, and I've met before Tom Wilson, which actually
we were together when
That's
we met
right.
Tom Wilson the first time.
We saw him at the comedy show.
At the Improv.
At the Improv.
At the Orlando Improv.
He was actually really funny.
He's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yes.
For a guy who does clean comedy.
Yeah.
I didn't think I would have a good time. I was in stitches the whole time.
I honestly suggest if you guys ever have a chance to actually even see his performance on YouTube or anything like that, he's really funny, especially the theme song that he starts at, Michael J. Flux is my friend, and blah 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 blah. It's hilarious.
The question song.
The question song
is what it's called.
Oh, I've never
Stop
seen this.
asking
I
me the
can't believe this.
questions. It was that real manure. No. Was that real manure? No. Was that real manure? It's a movie. Stop asking me the questions. I get
amazing.
that for days.
I actually have the whole song because I had to download it because it was so funny, and his autograph that he was giving away too. In the back, it has the whole song too. Yeah.
I remember when we were sitting there, actually, it was Brooke, Caitlin, and I. We were waiting for you. And at one point, because Caitlin is a much nicer person than anyone at this table, she goes,
very true.
should we wait for Eugene? I was like, shit, no. He made his decision. I'm going in
And
there.
I'm like, I don't know who that is.
And that was the first day that we met as well. I had not met Brooke before, but funnily enough, she works at Universal with my lovely wife, Angela.
Uh-huh.
Yes, she was my makeup artist.
It's so funny how we had never met, but yet we're connected that way. So the four of us, even though we didn't all really meet and know each other, we had connections to all these people and mutual friends and such. So
Very small world.
Very, and getting even smaller.
Welcome to Orlando.
Anyone who works in theme parks will just go ahead and tell you it's a small world.
It is. Everyone
you
knows
know
everybody.
everyone.
It's like high school.
Pretty
unfortunately.
much. Well, let me ask you guys this: when you guys were there watching the actors talking about their recollection with the movies and all their experiences. I mean, I take it this is the first time you all met Michael J. Fox.
Oh yeah.
Michael
Yes.
J. Fox,
Yeah,
yes, but
absolutely.
the others, no.
Okay.
I had never met any of them. This is my first time.
Same.
See, I've met like the two. I met some of the other actors, but that was my first time meeting Christopher Lloyd and
That was
Michael
my
J.
second time
Fox.
meeting Christopher.
And wow, I apologize. Strickland was the name of the actor.
James Tolkien.
James Tolkien, thank you. And if you were at MegaCon, if you were there, you know he left a very amazing impression.
Oh my god.
He's so funny. Oh my god. The things.
But
that come
he's
out of
never
his
being
mouth.
invited back.
He's never gonna be invited back.
But we loved it. We all loved it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
for another show.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, just for those of you that want to know what we're talking about, just try and find the MegaCon 2019 Back to the Future panel and watch the whole thing, and you will know.
You'll know. You'll know.
No, we don't even have to say it.
Nope.
Just
yeah.
another sexy ball, man.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. No, I think it was a great panel. I mean, for me, obviously, like what Michael J. Fox talked about and like a lot of his experiences and how emotional he got and how appreciative he was of his fans. First and foremost, of like following along on the journey and keeping like the movie's alive for this
Yeah.
long. Like, he really touched a lot of us, I think, in that moment.
Oh,
like,
I was crying.
I definitely teared up, and you know, you could even see the other like actors on stage being like, wow, like, we can't believe it. And it was so awesome because he was trying so hard to like get his points across when you could see that he was struggling with the Parkinson's, and he had to take a moment to kind of just like gather himself and like let others talk so he could know that he could say what he wanted to say without having a hard time. And it was a really super emotional moments, and that was really important, I think, for all of us involved to see that side of him. Really,
You almost forget that Michael J. Fox is an amazing comedian.
yeah.
And that's actually one of those things, because you see him, obviously, it was, you see, it's funny because first, when he comes out, you always look at, it's almost like that thing about the actors, some actors have. Like, for example, you see Michael J. Fox, the first thing you think is Marty. You see Sylvester Stallone, you think Rocky. Arnold Schwarzenegger, you think Terminator.
Last Action Hero. Oh, sorry.
We apologize for everybody for...
Yes! Turbo Man!
Oh, God.
Sorry.
And his friend Booster.
Love that movie.
Sorry, just sidetracked.
We digress.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyways.
Anyway, for those of you, I'm referring to those two people that like that movie.
It's a great Christmas film.
Put the cookie down. Anyway, so you realize, like, Harrison Ford, you think Han Solo or Indiana Jones, things like that. But when I see you see Michael J. Fox, you see Marty, and then obviously you see him struggling with his condition and everything. But at the same time, when he will get the microphone and talk, it almost like makes you forget about that. He has that. Like, it's just amazing how amazing he is. And actually, I don't know if you guys ever saw it. He was actually at the Jimmy Fallon show once, and obviously, struggling with his. One thing that I don't know if you guys know about this, him and his wife. Do you know how long they've been together?
Forever.
Really long time.
They met actually at the set of his show, Family Ties. Family Ties, right?
Yeah, Family Ties.
Ties.
Such a good show.
And it's amazing. I mean, she's a stunning, beautiful woman.
Yeah, she's fine.
And she had. And it's amazing how they've lost. How you never hear any drama from them. You never hear anything from them. And I love the fact that Jimmy Fallon asked Michael J. Fox, "What's the secret to an amazing, to a successful marriage?" And this quote is unbelievable. He says, "Keep the fights clean and keep the sex dirty."
Oh my gosh. Amazing. I can hear him saying that.
Like he said that.
Good boy.
And it was so funny because it's like you laugh and everything, but at the same time you're like, wow, that's true. And it's very admirable to see him, even though with everything that's been going on, and to still have his sense of humor. It's pretty impressive.
Going off of Michael J. Fox quotes, I don't know if you guys even know this, but when I was, I must have been a junior in high school, I had an English project that I had to do, and we basically had to take a book, give a presentation about it. So my book was one of Michael J. Fox's first ones that he wrote. So what I did with it, there was a line that stood out to me. It was a quote in the book that he stated when he first got to Hollywood, when he was starting with Family Ties. And that quote was, "Not fitting in means that you truly belong." And I actually have that quote tattooed on my back. It's like sitting in the dust trails of the DeLorean. Yeah. So it was my first tattoo. It just did my entire upper back. I was like, go big or go home.
You actually got a tattoo?
What?
You got a tattoo?
I didn't know you had a tattoo.
I have a whole bunch of tattoos, yeah.
Well, no, I meant like a Back to the Future tattoo.
Oh, yeah. I got the DeLorean on my back.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, full color
Guys,
and
we're
everything.
fucking up.
All right.
Take off your shirt. Let's see this.
Folks,
Not right now.
Not
Okay.
right now. But we promise you, as
There's
soon as
no
we're going to be
rules.
posting
We'll
pictures
put
of this.
We'll put a
of the
picture on
tattoo.
Instagram.
Yeah, we're going to post this. You have a tattoo of the DeLorean?
Yeah.
That's
Damn,
awesome.
That's awesome.
I always wanted a flux capacitor.
That's next. Absolutely.
We
next.
should all
I mean,
get
I'm like
matching
a
flux
walking
capacitor
billboard.
tattoos.
I have Billin's head on my side. I have Jurassic Park on my foot. Back to the Future on my back. Haha. It reminds me, though, there's a quote in The Office, wasn't it? Michael, he's like trying to flirt at the bar, and he's like, "I've always wanted to get a tattoo on my back of Back to the Future. Get it?"
Oh my God.
So
I have not heard
I
that.
actually have a friend, Stephanie. Every time she rewatches that episode, I get a text. I'm like,
my
oh,
God.
if I see her name pop up on my phone, I'm either getting invited to Halloween Horror Nights or she's telling me she's watching that episode. Shout out to Stephanie, because it always happens every year.
I always wanted to get
Interesting.
it.
The more you know.
The
Yeah.
more you know. Well, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for the next show, which will be all of Anthony's tattoos.
Or we'll just show up at a tattoo shop and get like all tattoos at once, and you'll hear the
Matching Back to the
zzz.
Future
matching
tattoos.
flux capacitors.
We just get like a small flux capacitor on us.
Says the girl with no tattoos who's terrified to get one.
I'll
be
do
fine.
it for you. It'll be fine.
Oh yeah. No thanks.
We'll see.
No, but this is I know a guy. So yeah, Eugene, you're usually the guy with the guy
I
with
too
the guy.
know a guy
I
Oh.
know, I know.
and a girl.
I know.
Oh,
What, a guy and a girl about what?
tattoo
tattooing.
artist.
Oh, me too. I have a friend.
Hey, Brooke.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, I didn't know what you were talking about. I have a friend too that's a tattoo artist. She's great.
She just has friends.
I
Friends
have
in general.
I have a lot of friends.
What was that,
No,
Caitlin?
I'm just kidding.
Sorry.
You always know someone.
Spit take.
Well, speaking of that, about with tattoos, I mean, we've seen obviously some really deep, like, what does it take to be a Back to the Future fan? Like, and it's like one time I was talking to, and actually at Americon of all things, I was talking to this guy. It was like, I'm dressed up as Marty McFly, and yes, folks, I even had my pockets outside, like in Back to the Future Part 2. And I was talking to this guy, like, what makes a Back to the Future fan? And he was showing me his tattoos too, and he actually had the time clock with the DeLorean, this blah blah blah, etc. And I was like, oh, that's cool, And another guy comes up and he shows a tattoo of actual Michael J. Fox. Yeah, of actual Michael J. Fox, and you start thinking like, wow.
I'm fucking up. I don't have any tattoos.
But the most craziest tattoo that I've seen somebody at, and this is at MegaCon too, at the panel, when we got out, I saw, and I wish I would have taken a picture of this person. We were just talking. He goes, "Oh, I'm a Back to the Future fan." He lifts up his shirt, and right in his chest, yeah, I know, he has a tattoo of, guess what, folks?
What?
Oh God, I don't want to know. I'm scared. I'm so scared.
Einstein.
Okay, go ahead.
He has a tattoo of Biff, literally of the Biff and his car. And that's actually one of the things that I've never seen before. And I'm like, and I saw it and I was like, that's Biff. And like, yeah, you have a tattoo of Biff, like the actor Tom Wilson, on your chest. And he's like, yeah. Okay.
That's dedication.
That's dedication. Like there's so many questions, but at the same time, this person has his shirt, lifting his shirt up, so I felt a little bit awkward because I'm like literally talking to this guy. He's showing me his nipples, and and I have more questions to ask him, but at the same time, I'm like, I mean, two things were going in my mind right now. Number one, that's a hairy chest. Number two,
Oh my God.
yeah, it is really hairy. Like you can like.
So is it Mad Dog tannin? If there's a Bivens, there's hair.
I wish I could tell. I think he was going for that one, but I don't know.
my
But the
God.
fact that I've never seen anyone with a Biff and his car tattooed. It not even the car with the shit. It was just his car.
Yeah.
It was just so many questions, and that's when I saw you guys.
If that guy is listening to our podcast right now, Eugene thinks about you a lot, sir. He really
No,
does.
I really
You're
want
an
you to
hour part of
call
our
us,
podcast.
please, because I have so many questions to ask you. Like, why? Why do you made a tattoo of Biff?
Yes, Biff Tattoo Man, you have an open invitation.
Yes, you
we
do.
want you to come here and talk about your hairy chest.
I kind of want to see this tattoo.
He'll find us.
He'll find us.
He'll find us.
Maybe.
If you book them, they will come.
And on that note,
No, but I mean, going into tattoos, like, I mean, it's obviously a lot of dedication that we
Yes.
have to these movies. So
Yeah.
I want to ask you guys, and we'll start with you, Caitlin.
Okay.
What does Back to the Future mean to you?
Oh my god.
Like, why are you a fan?
That's a really loaded question. And I don't know if I know how to answer it. And great, use of transition right there. Very good. Very professional.
I try.
So my introduction to these movies, I remember I must have been about 5 or 6. Now, I have an older brother. Shout out to my brother Alex. I love you. Now, because he and I have a 4.5-year age gap, he's, of course, older. And so all the stuff that he liked, of course, I wanted to be like my big brother. I wanted to, watch these movies and do everything he did. And I believe that he got the Back to the Future trilogy on VHS for his 10th birthday. So we're talking 1995 here.
I was 2.
Shut up.
I was 4.
Shut up.
I was one.
Eugene's the old fart.
Eugene was 27.
Eugene was 65. He doesn't die.
It doesn't die.
Anyways.
Anyways. And so that's my first recollection of the films is that he got those for his birthday, and I had never seen them before, and watching them at home. And I think we all can agree, every Back to the Future fan, not just the four of us, that it's the ultimate fantasy story, because we all think and dream of, oh man, I wish I could go back and I wish I could change this and I wish I could do this and make my life better, or, change this situation, or, if my parents did this, then maybe life would have turned out like this.
Yep. Yeah.
We all have that fantasy, and I think that's why we all relate to these movies. But I'm going to share something with you guys that I don't think I've ever told anybody before.
Dun, dun, dun.
No, it's not even that big of a deal, but it's kind of embarrassing.
Uh-oh.
So I remember one time my brother was watching the first movie, and I just wanted to be Marty McFly so bad. And it's like, geez, Caitlin, you didn't know you were gay then? I'm like, yeah, I guess not. I just wanted to be Marty McFly so bad, and I didn't have a skateboard at the time, but I had my first pair of inline rollerblades. And so the way our house was is that, we had a TV room. We didn't have it out in the main living room. And so my brother's watching the movie. It's that opening scene with the power of love, and I'm rollerblading on the carpet in my living room.
Oh, God, I know where this
just
is going.
Just pretending that, yeah, it's me. I'm on the skateboard. I'm so fucking cool.
I'm scared.
Nothing happened.
Oh.
It's just that,
I was ready for a broken tooth.
Yeah, I was waiting
No.
for like a rollerblade to go flying when she tried to kick the gate open,
No, but that, at such a young age, I must have been 6 years old, and just, skating around my living room because I wanted to be Marty McFly, and I wanted the power of love blaring, everywhere, just while I'm, skating, and I just wanted to be cool. No, but these movies just mean the world to me. My three loves are the Beatles will always be number one. If you don't know me, the Beatles are my absolute everything.
Yeah, she'll find a way to bring them up in every conversation you have with her.
Pretty much. Beatles, Back to the Future.
And Eugene.
Your wife.
Now that's messed up. Y'all know my ladies.
Angela, you didn't hear
Y'all
that.
know my ladies number one to me.
Angela, you didn't make the
You didn't
cut.
hear
Sorry.
that,
Yeah,
Angela.
she said Beatles number one, not Angela.
You guys
Dang.
suck.
Sorry.
I meant pop culture stuff.
For those of you, let's recollect. Number 1, the Beatles. Number 2, Paul McCartney. Number 3, Back to the Future. Number 4, Eugene. And number 5, Angela.
Sorry, Angela.
Sorry, Angela.
We love you.
Y'all gotta
love
put me in
you.
the doghouse.
Woof woof.
She
Woof.
knows. She knows that she's number one. But yeah, I've had a love for these movies since I was a little kid, and they're my favorite movies of all time that are not Beatle related. Then the next one would be That Thing You Do. Probably.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, that one.
Come on. That's the movie that got me to play drums, so.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Well, since Brooke, you look like you're itching to talk, so why
Oh,
not? Same question for you.
Am I? Okay. I'm trying to think. So I think I got my love for Back to the Future because my mom always was getting me involved in watching old movies. Well, I guess older movies, not that, whatever.
Not that old.
I know. Listen. She was just trying to get me cultured and trying
As
to
all
get
parents
me
should.
right, exactly. And Back to the Future is one of her favorite movies, so she was like, "We are going to watch these." And I was definitely probably too young to be watching them, but nobody at that age picks up on foul language or suggestive content. So I was like, "Yay, this is awesome!" And so basically, would watch the VHSs until they were worn out. The box was shredded, and the VHS was all but they just stuck with me. I don't know if it was the fantasy aspect like you said,
Right.
or what, but just the feeling of going back into the past and changing something that alters your whole life is just so incredible to me. And I kind of always wish that I had my own personal DeLorean time machine that I can go back and change stuff, because God, there's just things that need to be changed. But that's another topic for another day. But yeah, it's always been super, super important to me. always been my favorite movies. I can quote them by heart, and people get annoyed because I'll watch. I'm like, let's watch Back to the Future, and they're like, no, because you're gonna quote it. Like, stop. And then getting everybody that I've been ever involved with, like, I'm like, we're gonna watch Back to the Future. I'm really sorry. This is just how it's gonna be. Just like my girlfriend Meg, I'm like, we're gonna watch Back to the Future, and you're gonna be obsessed. And she's like, okay. And now she's obsessed. So it's like amazing. But yeah, so it's just. It's a great story, and I love it so much, and I'm so appreciative to have being brought into my life because it's changed my life, I think, for many betters, and that's not a word, but I don't care, it's fine. So yeah, I feel like I don't have a cool rollerblading story though.
No,
like,
only I have
I'm trying
a
to
cool
think of my
rollerblading story.
scale here. You know, I feel like I have to say like Back to the Future, Harry Potter, Meg. I'm sorry, I love you, but like, no, I'm just kidding. No, she's my number one. But like, yeah, like it's so important. And you know, I need to watch the third one more though, because I don't give it enough credit. Like I always am like, I'll watch like number 2 the most, and then 3, I'm just like, oh man.
See, I can't watch number 2 without watching number 3. I feel like they're one movie essentially.
Yeah.
I can't watch them apart.
It's just a long ass movie.
It's just one long movie.
3 or 2?
2
No,
and 3
just, like,
together.
put them together.
Put them together.
No,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
see it as one film.
Yeah.
That's true. I go with that. And also, then in 3, you really know. I mean, don't get me wrong. Tom Wilson was amazing in 1 and 2, but I feel like in 3 you could really see how
He's
good of
having
an
fun.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good of an actor.
how
he
good
was.
of an actor, and
Yeah,
also
yeah.
the fact that correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't number 3 the first time that Christopher Lloyd actually had a kissing scene?
Yes,
Yes.
that is his very first
Yes.
on-screen kiss was in Back to the Future
Go
3.
Christopher.
Yes.
That's awesome.
So Eugene, what about you? Like, is there anything like crazy that stands out
Tell
when you think
your
about these movies?
story.
Like, what's your story with
Well, the
this?
fact that I'm the only one on this table that actually saw the movie at the theater when it came out, I feel like
Old
completely
fart.
old. Yeah, I know. I feel like I should be playing bingo. But anyway.
A45.
It hasn't opened yet.
That's not the correct.
But unfortunately,
A45
I
isn't
can't-
real.
A is not.
That's
Honey,
more
how do
like
you spell bingo?
Bingo.
045. Is that O?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
069.
Yeah.
BINGO, whichever one you want. There's just no.
I
way.
just really like playing bingo, but my brain is okay. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Well, we were
Anyways,
gonna do this podcast at the Villages, but we couldn't. They wouldn't let us. So that's another
where's my
story.
golf cart?
I know. Anyway, no. I was actually when the movies came out, I was actually 5 years old, 6 years old, and I remember watching this movie. It changed my mind. I mean, it changed everything. I remember I remember we went with my brother, my mother. It was like a family thing that we went all together to see the movie. My story is a little different. It doesn't have a skateboard or anything like that. It actually involves. It's kind of a little bit sad at the beginning, but trust me, folks, it has a really cute, happy ending. When we saw the movie, I was blown away from the moment that you see all the clocks and everything, and you're just watching this movie and all these characters that you fall in love with. But for me particularly and for many others, when we were at the theater and you suddenly go, the dog comes over, you think the movie's over, and the dog comes over, he picks up Marty, and Jennifer gets in the car, and then out of nowhere, the car, goes back, and then the car starts to go up.
Chilling.
I mean, even talking about it right now,
Yeah.
it gives me,
Goosebumps.
Goosebumps. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
You're welcome.
It gives me goosebumps, and I was just like looking at this, and I was so excited when I saw that the first thing that came out of my mouth was fudge. And for those of you that have
Only
seen the
he
movie
didn't
Christmas
say
Story,
Only he didn't
it
say
was
fudge.
definitely not fudge, because I screamed out of the
Gotta
top
wash
of my
your mouth
head.
out with soap.
Oh,
Record
yeah.
scratch.
Well, my Puerto Rican mother, she was very understanding, and she said, "Oh, Eugene, why did you say that word? Let's just wait till the end of the movie so we can talk about it." Hell no! She slapped me right in the mouth in front of me and took me out of the theater, and I could not watch that one scene of that car flying. Because I remember my mom taking me out of the theater because I just cursed. And because in all honesty, she did tell me, when Doc says when you go 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit. I was like, shit. And my mom's like, don't you curse again. If you curse one more time, I'm gonna get you out. So she did warn me. Boo. So yes, folks, that is very true. My mother took me out just at that particular scene, took me out of the theater, so I could never actually see the car fly. And guess what? Back in the 80s, we didn't have YouTube. We didn't have the internet. I just didn't see it because
Oh my God, I didn't think about that. Oh
I
my
didn't.
gosh.
Yeah. So I was literally, my mother was grounding me, and my mother forbidden me to watch that movie because I cursed twice during the movie. My brother comes out, and my brother's like, "Oh my God, you missed the best part!" I'm like, and a lot of
Just
people,
rubbing it in
because
your
a lot of
face.
people, I could remember hearing the crowd yelling and screaming. Anyway. Time passed, and I needed to see this. I made it my mission that I needed to see this because otherwise I would have to wait till the movie went to VHS. That's not gonna happen. So my brother actually was dating this girl. I remember that my mom was not particularly fond of, and my brother wanted to go out with her, but my brother had to babysit me. Boo. And I remember that my brother said, like, "Look, son, we're gonna go to the movies, whatever." And my brother wanted me to cover for him, and I go. This is when I knew I wanted to be a businessman. I told him, no, you're going to do something for me. I need to see Back to the Future, and I need to see that car fly. So here's how it's going to work. You want me to cover for you that you're dating that, whoever, that wench?
Damn.
Oh, yeah.
Damn, those are fighting words.
Oh, yeah. That's a big word. It give me a headache. But, yeah, so you're going to go with her, but I want ticket Back to the Future. I want a large popcorn. Large popcorn for myself.
That was 40 cents back then.
That's right.
That's 40 cents back then. That's a lot of money.
40 cents.
Yeah.
No.
A whole dime.
and I'll keep my mouth shut. Oh, and a big slushy too. And
That's a good compromise.
And he did. Me and my brother were always. I mean, and the thing about this, and this is where the story starts to change a little bit. Me and my brother had a rocky relationship. We like all siblings. We fought. Siblings fight a lot, but we and my brother, we fought a lot. It was just one of those things.
What's the age difference between you two?
Around 7.
7 years.
That's
a big age gap.
Yeah. So it was a little bit about that. So obviously, but the deal is the deal. We went to the movie theater, and he's with his little girl. I don't know. They went to see something, and then I saw Back to the Future, and I was so excited to see that one scene when the car's flying, and I saw it, and I was enjoying it and everything. The crowd was crazy.
Did you say French again?
I said more than that, my friend, because this time mom wasn't there. And we got out, and it was funny because after that, the years that happened later, it's like almost like me and my brother had this understanding, like I cover for you and you cover for me, and for the longest time, our relationship actually got better. And I always like to say that because of Back to the Future, it changed our relationship. And that's what, I mean, don't get me wrong, the movies are amazing, but when I see the movies, it makes me really appreciate my brother. The fact that my brother helped me do this, he didn't have to, but the fact that we helped each other and our relationship turned out to be for the best. What's best part of the whole story, and this is my point, is that, and I found out last year, out of all things, we had a family reunion, and we were in Sanford at a German restaurant, and there was a DeLorean that passed by. And when the DeLorean passed by, me and my brother looked. We always had this thing, like, giggling like little schoolgirls, like, hee hee hee, like.
Yeah, untucking thing.
Yeah, that's got a little untucking thing. And we saw our mom, and we were just laughing. And we noticed that our mom was kind of like looking at us, like ignoring us. And we just just having fun, whatever. And my mom turns to us and goes, I think it's about time I tell you guys. And we were like, what? You do know I know that you took your brother, you were not babysitting him, and you went to the movie theater with that girl that I told you specifically I did not want you to see. And you took your brother to the movies too. And we were like in shock. We were like this is like that, like you remember that little squirrel? Like oh! And we were completely in shock about hearing this. And we were like, how do you know? And like, because you guys went to the mall that I always go to. And did you remember that I told you that day that I was going to the mall?
She saw y'all.
Yeah, and we were like,
oh man,
we were really dumb.
It was the 80s.
We were like, we didn't thought about that.
Oh,
we
man.
thought, but then my mom said this, and this is the same story. Actually, I told this to Michael J. Fox, and he actually thought it was the cutest thing ever. My mom goes, but after that, when I saw that you guys were getting along, you guys were not arguing after that. You guys had like because of this movie that you guys got along so well. why am I gonna ruin that?
Oh.
So I just left
That's
that up
so
in.
Grab your tissue.
Yeah. And we were like, so that made the story more impactful. There's just knowing that she knew after all these years, she knew. And, we and to this day, man, my brother's like my best friend. And,
That's
incredible.
And it's funny because the moral of the story is, don't, if you even try to be smarter than your mom, it ain't gonna work.
Don't do it.
What about you, Anthony? What's up?
I mean, God, after listening to your stories, I mean, I don't even touch that because honestly, for the life of me, I can't remember like the first time I ever saw the film. I just remember that it's always been there.
Sure.
Yeah.
And more than likely, it was my father because he always introduced me to those old Universal movies. Like, you put on Jaws, E.T.,
Right.
Jurassic Park,
All those.
I'm in, right? And so, with that being said, I kind of just like would put that movie on anytime I'm sick or anything like that. And so, like, basically, like, if I'm feeling bad, I just put on that movie because it's even in, like, especially in everything that's going on in our current world, it is just my escape. Like, I can put on that movie and you just see a
Yep.
glow in my eyes and I'm there and I can recite to you every single word
Yep.
from opening to closing. And it's just always, had that huge impact, like, from the first time I visited the ride. Like, I still have...
Oh my God.
That's a whole other episode, by the
yeah.
way. We are going
ride.
to be talking in depth about the ride.
And I actually have
ride.
something that we can share on our social media channels, but I still have fast passes.
Do you really?
Yeah,
You really?
yeah. I still express passes. I still have express passes from that ride. Like I still have them, so I can bring those in.
that'd be cool.
It's
Oh,
crazy.
man.
But yeah, I don't have like an exciting story for that. I mean, it's just always been something that's enticed me.
I
Which
think
is
every,
still
I think
important.
every story is exciting in its own way, and that's what
Yeah.
makes us. I mean, look at it this way: this one movie brought 4 people, an older guy,
A baby.
a baby,
I'm like medium.
a medium baby,
And Caitlin.
and Caitlin.
Why am I always getting shit?
and brought us all together. And I know for a fact that around there, out there, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's so many people that have gone together because of
I
this
mean,
one
come
movie.
on. All the people that bought those VIP experiences at MegaCon
Yeah.
last year alone, all those people we bonded with in line.
They were so expensive.
Well,
Ugh.
no, like not even
No.
that, but think of all the people and you guys. Thank you. Like we have 200 followers before our first episode even published.
Which
Yes.
is crazy.
So like, there's people
Thank
obviously
you
out
to
there
all
who
my
care.
friends and family that I
Same.
bribed.
No, but there's such a huge following for these films, and there's nothing really that kind of just dedicates to them. Like
And that's one of the reasons why we wanted to start this podcast.
Yeah.
Is because the fact is that anywhere you go, when you start talking about these movies, is there something about them that makes people just smile?
yeah,
Yeah.
And it's something about that makes people smile. And once you start talking to people about the movies, and you share your stories, you share your why you like this and everything like that, and it's really fascinating that a movie. I cannot even imagine that the Bobs, Bob Gale,
The Bobs.
Bob Gale and
Zemeckis.
Zemeckis even thought of. I mean, could even thought about the fact. It just blows my mind away to know that they even had a suspicion in their minds. They were just doing the movie. They were just doing a movie.
35 years later.
And 35 years later, we're still talking about this movie as amazing, and I think it still holds up.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Oh, 100%.
It is. Well, I don't want to say flawless because there's like plot holes and fan theories
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff.
And we'll get into
but
those.
like, it's essentially just so perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's perfect because of our love for it. And I don't think any movie is perfect. I mean, every movie will always have, has flaws and everything like that. I mean, but it is a movie at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I remember that these damn movies actually, like when I was younger, gave me so much anxiety. Like, cause like you talk about how perfect they are, quote unquote, but you think about the levels of romance, comedy, but these damn that's it right there.
Yeah,
these damn
Yes.
movies, like, is this is he gonna get back in time?
Well,
Like,
that's what. Okay, I was literally about to say something. I was literally about to say, like, when he is sitting in the car and the car doesn't start.
When that
and he's
alarm
like,
went off.
He's like, and he like hits his head on the dash, and he's like, and it wakes up. You're like, oh my god, oh my god. Okay, it's going.
Now
and
go!
he's driving.
My
and
heart
Doc is like,
races
he's like,
every
Yeah.
single time.
And he's like, he's not gonna make it. He's not gonna make it. It's not
Every
gonna happen.
time.
And I'm like, I know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But you just don't know, and it's just the suspense. Like, that feeling is so crazy.
I think the music helps also.
Yes.
The orchestration from Alan Silvestri.
Oh.
I mean, it's
Incredible.
just, oh, it's a such a good score.
Well,
I'm such a music nerd.
Every time you go to Universal Studios and you hear that music, you can literally see people's faces go, "Oh my God, Back to the Future!" And it's always such a great impression. It's kind of stupid, but I like it actually when I'm walking by Universal Studios. I mean, the four of us are lucky enough to have the chance to go to Universal. It's right there in our backyards.
Right.
And whenever the music starts, or even just stopping by the car, just stopping by the DeLorean car, seeing people's faces. And I particularly, maybe it's the old man in me, but I like the fact when you see this dad going to the kid, "Oh, you know that movie? We got to see this movie, blah, 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 this and that." And they start talking to their kids or whatever. All that stuff. And it's really cool.
Yeah.
We came across that a lot. We did a cool little photo shoot last week, and those pictures will be uploaded, hopefully soon.
Thanks, babe.
Yes.
We'll get to it.
Thanks, Meg.
Yeah. Even though you were not her number one, thank you.
Stop it. Don't say that.
And even while we were there, the car was being bombarded by people as we were trying to take pictures by it. Yeah. And I was actually really surprised. I thought people might just walk by it and go, "Oh, hey, it's the DeLorean," but people actually stopped and took the time to look at every single angle of that car.
That cute old little lady that was took the picture by herself. She was oh my God,
she was so happy.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but when we're taking pictures, and this is how impactful music can be, especially during the 80s, where and music definitely defined the success of a movie as it is. This lady comes over, she took a picture with her boyfriend, and when they were walking out, they were literally singing, "There's a back in time."
Really?
Yeah, they were singing the song.
I hear that.
They were singing the song like that. And the best part of all, they were I'm pretty sure they were Brazilian, but it was so funny because their English was not that good. But they as soon as they started, they knew the song.
Matter.
They knew the song.
And
it was amazing. And that's, again, something that... for Huey Lewis in the news when they did this, is the same thing.
Huey! It's speaking on that though, watching, fathers or mothers, kind of just educate their children on what it was. That is one thing that always happens to me. So I own the trilogy on probably 3 or 4 different sets.
Oh, same.
Because the ride footage is on this new trilogy, and there's new extras on this one.
30th anniversary.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and there's probably gonna be a 35th anniversary one that drops this year.
There
that
is. It's gonna be in 4K.
Oh my God.
Here we see another reason. But one thing that always happens, if it's on TV, I get a text or call from my father or stepmother or someone to be like, "Hey, Back to the Future's on."
All the time.
And I'll turn the damn channel.
Yep.
I own it.
I have the DVDs. Why am I doing this?
Doesn't matter. I'll watch it with
I do it
commercials.
for the Colgate commercials.
The Colgate commercials?
No, it's the progressive ones. I love the
Yeah.
progressive
Oh my
theme park
gosh.
ones.
Shout out to Flo.
Shout out to Flo.
It's just crazy how universal these films are. No
pun
pun intended, yeah, but they truly are.
He just got that to 0.2 seconds later.
Yeah.
It's like a 5-second delay,
It's like Joey from Friends.
But these movies are just so fantastic, and I'm just glad that you guys are in my life because of these films, essentially.
Yeah.
So the last time I saw Eugene and Caitlin was years ago. We all saw each other last at MegaCon.
Yep.
Before that, I can't remember the last time I saw the two of you. Brooke, we
It's
met in
been a hot
2016
minute.
at Halloween Horror Nights.
Right.
But we never really hung out. But
No.
we've been getting together at least once a week since you had this idea. And it's just great hanging out with people who have the same passion for these films that I do, because I can talk about these all day, but nobody wants to hear it.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And that's one of the things that we wanted to start this podcast is, when, especially the fact that I still, to this day, I love the name What the Flux. Thank you very much, Caitlin.
You're welcome.
It's a great name.
It's a great name.
What the Flux?
I know. It's such What the Flux? But one of the things that really wanted to do about this is the fact that there's so many people out there that want to share their own stories. And I feel like it'd be kind of cool as soon as we get our social media, obviously we have our social media running, if anyone wants to, put your story out there, we would definitely love to hear it.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
We'd
please.
love to hear your stories about it. Everybody has that great story of when you first saw the movie, if you saw the movie in the theater, if you saw it in VHS,
if you saw it yesterday.
If you saw it yesterday.
Yeah, seriously.
If you're watching it right now.
Somebody is.
Somebody somewhere in the world
is watching Back to the Future.
And somebody else could be.
Da-da-da-da-da.
I don't know. I just wanted to be impactful.
Oh, okay.
That was not right. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
It could be you.
It could be you.
No, but I mean, this is something that Caitlin brought to our attention, and thank you for doing that because
Yeah.
this has been so fun, and I can't wait to see how we go with this. And thank you guys for joining in, and we have so much more coming. We have so much more that we want to do. We have plans written down for the future.
back.
Exactly.
Well, speaking of thank yous, I got the inspiration to do this because one of my other favorite movies is Ghostbusters, because who doesn't love them some awesome Ghostbusters? And I noticed that there were a lot of Ghostbuster-esque podcasts out there. And I'm like, well, Back to the Future is my favorite movie. Are there Back to the Future podcasts? And I only saw the one from Mr. Brad Gilmore. Shout out to him. He and I have been talking.
Hi, Brad.
Hi, Brad. If you guys want to check out his podcast too, if you haven't. I think it's just Back to the Future, the podcast, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. I don't have it written down in front of me. I'm sorry.
But go check it out.
Yeah, go check his out. And he's also coming out with a new book. But also Craig Goldberg from Yes Have Some podcast. I just need to say a big, big, big thank you to him, because usually, you listen to these podcasts and you're like, man, you want to be friends with these people, I want to be in their circle of friends and everything.
Be friends with me.
And so I just messaged him on a whim just to ask him for some podcast advice, and he's been so sweet and so supportive and answered all of our questions. Girl, good thing that's your microphone. Brooke was just licking her microphone.
I wasn't. I don't want to talk about it.
Coronavirus.
Oh my God, we weren't going to talk about that. No, there's nothing like that. Okay, anyways.
So I just want to give Craig a big shout out and say thank you. There's a sanitizer.
I have hand sanitizer. It's fine.
So yeah, but we are really looking forward to making more episodes for you guys.
We're so excited.
And what's going to happen in the next episode? Who said that? Who said that?
On the next episode of What the Flux.
Oh, my turn. So we actually have a friend of Eugene coming in, and to kind of give you guys an idea of what it is we want to do, Eugene, what is it we will be doing?
Oh my gosh.
Wow,
Tell
pushing it on me. Well, first of all,
hurry.
Okay, I will. Well, one of the things that we're going to be talking about with this podcast, we're definitely going to be putting more social media updates on things that are happening. Yes. Especially with the 35th year anniversary. We're going to be talking also about Michael J. Fox's new book that's going to be coming out soon as well.
Yay.
We're going to be talking about that. Also, we're going to be always updating people on new things, and we're going to talk about more about the ride itself.
We're going to talk about toys, guys.
There's
so many toys coming out.
We're also going to be talking about you remember those cartoons, the Back to the Future cartoons?
The animated series.
There's also comic books.
They're comic books and everything. We're going to be talking about also the Back to the Future, the musical, which has had rave reviews.
It's in London.
I know. Who knows? Maybe it'll win a Tony.
Let's hope so. And it comes here. We hope it comes here.
That's amazing, because Roger Bart's in it.
I know.
I got the reference from the producers. We're such nerds.
But also, we have a little nice surprise for you guys. We're actually really lucky enough. We're really lucky enough that we're going to be also have an actual cast member from the movie.
Yes.
We're actually going to be having, it's a good dear friend of mine who was actually an extra in Back to the Future Part 2. And just to give you a glimpse of her story, we were actually watching Halloween, the last Halloween movie, when she told me that she was an extra in Back to the Future. I honestly don't remember the movie. The Halloween movie. I was more.
You were so enamored.
I was so about the fact that my friend who was sitting next to me just told me before the movie started that she was in Back to the Future. And I'm like, I don't give a shit about this movie. You got to tell me about it, because I never knew about it. And the best part of all, folks, is that there's actual clips of her in the movie. You've probably seen this scene many, 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 many times, but you never realized it. And she's going to come, and we're actually going to be making sure that we put that one scene that she's in on our social media.
Yeah, we're going to try and...
Yeah.
We will give you visual aids.
We will give you, that's right. But we're also going to be making sure that when she comes here, that she's going to tell her story. And it's really cool, because for all those fans out there, like I said, we talked about today of our experience as fans. But the next episode, we're going to be talking about the experience as someone who was actually there, someone who was actually on set. How was it? What did they do? Did she have to make any changes to her look for the movie?
Don't spoil the
Yeah,
questions.
yeah. Everything.
We're
So,
we're even gonna answer the eternal question: why are we here?
What's
So-
the meaning of life?
with all that being said, from Caitlin, Brooke, Eugene, and myself, it has been an absolute pleasure to get this up and running for you guys. We can't wait.
Yay.
We have so much more coming for you guys. We are gonna, introduce you to our social media handles, so we will put those up on our What the Flux pages, so you guys can get to know us better, follow us as well, and then guys, whether it be in the future or the past, we will see you next time. Thank you so much.
Yay.
Yay!
Yay.
So why don't you make like a tree and get out of here?
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to What the Flux. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at WhatTheFlux_pod. Please subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts and give us a 5-star rating. And be sure to recommend us to your other time-traveling friends.
Hasta la bye-bye.